Yeah, go on, sorry.
Right.
So God was doing what?
Right, so we get to the point where he's doing.
Right. So
Maybe that's a bit.
when hold on. So
They were given the command then multiply, fill the earth, and subdue it. So that meant they've got to have families, and that.
When did Eve get made then? Did she get made?
There's no record of the time period.
So when did Adam get made then? How long after the garden?
4026 BC.
What is that? Did it get made during the creation of the world and the Garden of Eden?
After 4,000 years.
What did they make Adam?
So just after Adam, this is, you could prove this secularly or whatever, 4026 BCE, before the Common Era. That's when Adam was created.
Where does this term before the Common Era come from?
It's more accurate than BC.
In what way? In terms?
It's before the Common Era, and
yeah, but they're all
AD,
just
Anno Domini. It's Latin.
Neither.
The year of our Lord.
But they're both just man's method of measuring time, aren't they? It's not. It's
yeah,
not
but it's
a
more
biblical
accurate.
thing.
Common Era and before the Common Era.
What? Because it's got.
The Common Era starts 2 BC.
But they're both measured by the same in the same method, using man's terms
Anyway,
of time.
Take it from me, 4026. So that up to 1976 is 6,000 years. So that is how long Adam had been on the earth. Right, the commission was for then, you asked a question, try to answer it.
Yeah.
Adam and Eve were given the commission to multiply, fill the earth and subdue it. But there was one condition. They had not to eat from a particular tree in the middle of the garden, the tree of knowledge of good and bad. Well, not an apple tree.
So God didn't want them to be
No, he gave them,
educated.
he gave them everything. He said you could eat of everything except for that. It will line up like a line of demarcation.
Why did he not want them to be educated?
He did want it to be educated.
It was like the tree of knowledge. Then, surely.
No. That's what it says in the Bible. It was like you having a family and saying to your young child, "We've got some chocolate, but you're not to eat it before you dinner, else you're not eating dinner. If you do."
But it's not chocolate, though. It was a tree that provided the Adam with knowledge.
It was symbolic. It was a symbolic tree. It was a line of demarcation. They needed to be obedient to that, and if they weren't, they were told that they would die. Right?
Why?
So
that's not very nice, though, is it? So if the kid
it's not very nice, but that's the way it came.
So if the kid eats the chocolate before his dinner, then should he die?
No, you're confusing. You're confusing. You're not going to get me confused, I'll tell you that.
I think you are a little bit confused.
No, I'm not, totally. You asked me a question, let me try and answer
it. It says that God puts life and death before you. He puts the blessings and the maledictions.
But he killed someone for eating a particular fruit, though. It's a bit harsh.
He's telling everybody they can have life or they can have death. Which one would you choose?
Oh, I think the whole thing's an ongoing cycle, isn't it?
No, don't think about it that way, an on-cycle. If you'd got life and you could live, or you could have death, which one would you choose?
Well, if someone's saying, here's a load of knowledge, you can have that, or I'll kill you.
It's got no to do with knowledge.
Well, what about the tree of knowledge?
No, it's got no to do. If you could have life or you could have death, which would you choose?
Well, it's fairly obvious that I'm not going to choose death, am I? Because that would be stupid.
Lots of people do.
I'd be suicidal if I chose death, though, wouldn't I?
Well, that's what people are doing today. They're not listening to what God says, and they're choosing death.
What about all the people that don't choose death, that get killed by other people for religious beliefs?
That is what man's doing. Yeah, not what God's doing.
But why doesn't God help them then?
Yeah. Well, you have a little look at this. When did God's kingdom begin to rule? And we've been saying the Lord's Prayer since you were little, and people have been saying it for years and years since Jesus Christ was on the earth. And it's
but man made up the Lord's Prayer, though, didn't he?
Having a conversation.
Yeah, under inspiration.
Now, if you've got a Bible, check the
God's
Bible for yourself, and then it's not what we say, but what God does say.
I have got a Bible, but who told the person that wrote the Bible then?
Well, I'll show you.
How do you know if it's not what you... It's basically the Bible is the writings of all the different disciples.
You asked the question.
There's various different Gospels based on the different disciples.
Well, you're going from one asking one question to
and
another,
not letting us
answer the right question.
And it's all very confusing for me then.
Yeah.
Well, that's because you're not listening to answer the first question.
Go on then, tell me the answers then.
The first 5 books of the Bible were written by Moses, and it's called the Pentateuch.
Pentateuch.
Right.
And And the reason he could write about from Adam and Eve and creation, because the lives overlapped. It's like you with your grandparents, your great-grandparents. You can tell stories.
So did Moses
about
know
them.
Adam and Eve then?
No.
Or is it like Chinese whispers?
Well, no, it all
But
overlapped.
people lived a lot longer at that time. That's another question.
How do
Let me just answer this
they
first
definitely didn't
question.
live a lot longer. Life expectancy is far higher now than it was in biblical times.
Do you know how long Adam lived?
No.
Remember what I said to you about a day in God's eyes is 1,000 years?
Yeah.
Right.
So how long did Adam live?
Well, I'll show you. I'll tell you.
Yeah.
So that because Adam was disobedient, he was told that they shouldn't eat from that particular tree, else they would die within a day. Yeah. Now, a day.
For what reason, though? Why?
For being disobedient.
What, so basically,
Not just eating the fruit. The fruit had nothing to do
so
with it.
is that the same way in the way that like if someone's disobedient to me, have I got the right to kill them?
No.
Why?
Just let me. You're trying to get us going around in circles, and we're not going to do it. We're going to answer questions, what you've asked, and leave it at that.
I've not got any questions.
James,
yeah.
That tree was a line of demarcation. Just leave it at that.
Okay.
They were told they could eat of any other tree except that one.
But they'll get killed for doing it.
But they would die within a day.
And the tree is also not just a normal tree. It's known as the tree of
disciplined. Like your parents.
You asked about the Bible.
Yeah, but the trees. You said previously that the tree's called the tree of knowledge, and it was the knowledge of everything good and bad.
That's what it was called in the Bible.
So what was the end result of eating the fruit of this tree?
If you think about it logically,
apart from getting killed,
good and bad would be in their eyes, their own eyes.
But why was it called the tree of knowledge, and what would be the consequence?
I have no idea.
Can you see? Because they did eat off this tree
of
knowledge and good and
both
bad,
of them.
you and I are in this position today while we grow old and die.
Why?
Because if they'd have never eaten that fruit of the tree, they had everlasting life. So we're back to a put life and death before you. They chose death and they passed it on to you and I.
From them.
How do you know that?
That's why we're in the mess today. Because look,
Romans 5:12.
And I have this mark. It says, so all the days of Adam's life amounted 930 years, and then he died.
Right.
That was under the 1,000.
So
he didn't get killed for eating from the tree of knowledge.
Yes.
He weren't killed. He died.
He was told he would die.
What did he die of?
You're it. Well, what
would you think?
930
I don't know, but I would have thought
older people live today.
I would have thought he'd have died sooner than that. So
No,
that's what you think.
Within that day.
If he'd managed,
God, it's 1,000 years.
Was it like a heart attack, or did he get run over
by? There's no record of it.
Did he get run over by a donkey cart?
You're asking questions that are not even relevant.
Do you know what happened to your great grandma and granddad?
No, but they specifically know how long he lived and died for. How long he lived for, and he died. But they don't say that he died.
Well, if he'd have died for eating from that tree in what we call a day, he would have been dead next day. But the commission was to have children.
Right.
So the point is...
does that mean we're all inbred then, if all the children originate?
Yeah, of course we are. How else could they fill the world?
That's why you
grow old and die. Why are the different races?
Different colours.
So what colour was Adam then?
Adam was...
Garden of Eden was somewhere in Turkey. Round about Turkey. So he'll be olive skin, wouldn't he?
So how can we get black people then?
Norad, Shem,
That's a different question. No. You're not even allowing us to answer the questions that you've asked.
I'm just really confused. There's black. There's black people on the front of there. So on the front of the little book, there's black people.
Right. Let me just answer this question.
And Chinese people and everything.
Wait a minute.
So how can they have all originated from the same parents?
One moment. You asked about the Bible written by men. Let me just show you.
If my mum gave birth to a black baby, though, after having white parents, it would be... Yeah, exactly.
Timothy, look,
but where did the black men come from?
This is 2 Timothy. It says here in verse 16, all Scripture is inspired of God, and the effects are beneficial for teaching, for reproving and setting things right, for disciplining in righteousness, that the man of God may be fully competent and completely equipped for every good work.
Right.
So it's inspired of God, and the Scriptures were given to men, 40 different writers, in effect.
The gospel writers we're talking about.
Not just gospel writers, all the ones who actually took part.
How come all the gospels are different? They're not all the same, are they?
They all say the same things. It's like you. Imagine a bus queue, right? Yeah. People of all different, from all different walks of life. One might be a doctor, one might be an engineer.
Yeah.
They see an accident. Now, the police come and interview each person. They give their point of view of that particular accident, and they all vary.
Yeah.
They've seen the same thing, but they vary. Right.
Like the things that they're talking about are fairly important, though. It's not just like what colour was the car that ran the person over.
No, it's the same sort of thing.
There's quite
The
significant
Bible
differences
writers,
between
all the
them,
Bible
aren't there?
writers wrote under inspiration.
They all harmonise.
How come there's all these different people like you who all believe in the same God and believe the same basic story, yet you've got completely different views on how it should be?
We haven't got any complete view. This is our textbook, and this is what we do.
But you use the Bible, yeah?
Yeah.
Church of England use the Bible.
Yeah.
Catholics use the Bible.
Do they use the Bible?
Well,
Are you aware, James? Your
show
Bible, you know your King James version of the Bible, the name Jehovah, it should have been.
But it tells effectively the same stories, though, doesn't it? And it's the same. They're talking about the same people, aren't they? The same characters.
It's omitted the name Jehovah. It's been taken out.
No, but other than that, the characters.
Other than that, that's the most important factor in the Bible.
The name.
God's name, yeah.
Why surely the teachings are more important than what you call the guy that
but then you'd say, well, if it's just haphazard, whose authority?
If I had a book that was full of really useful knowledge, though, I wouldn't care what the author's name was. I'd just care what it was.
Oh, you would, be the type of person that you appear to be, yeah.
No,
you want to know why it came to be so. You would, you'd question it.
I wouldn't need to, I'd just think,
no, you wouldn't, because you're questioning this, and this is what the Creator's written.
How do you know the Creator wrote that, though? Man wrote that.
He didn't write it,
Exactly.
he had men write the Bible.
You know when you see a street...
Why didn't he just write it himself?
Right, you know when you see it, you're down on an estate, you'll see a street, there's many on here, Burnell Street.
Yeah.
Right, Burnell Street was probably named after an engineer. Right. He didn't build these houses.
Yeah.
His name's been put to it. Right.
So what about all the other people, and are they wrong if you're right? That follow other religions? No. Should they? What will happen to them? Because
they've been misguided.
But what will happen to them, in your opinion, for not following what you follow?
Well, the Bible says that the churches and chapels and are all going to be destroyed.
Why?
Because they're all part of Babylon the Great,
God's
world empire of false religion. Because they're ruled by Satan the devil.
What? So you're saying basically a Jew or a Muslim or someone is ruled by Satan?
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah.
What?
Because they're not following God's law. The Jews was part of God's people.
Wasn't Jesus a Jew?
Well, listen, we're going back to the time of Egypt.
Wasn't Jesus a Jew, though?
Listen to what God said. The Jews was in Egypt as slaves, and there was God's people. Right. And we're going back, and Pharaoh wouldn't let them go because he wanted to use them to do all the buildings and make bricks.
But you've just said
Jews.
But
God said, no, listen, God said, you've got to let them go. They're my people to worship me, and they wouldn't do that. And so he sent those plagues.
It's a bit self-righteous, and
no, it isn't. No, he sent those plagues, and he warned them before it even happened.
Why should people have to worship him, though? What's the point of that?
Because he created us.
He's the sovereign Lord of the universe,
he created
and he's worthy of
he created
all
the earth.
our praise.
It's a bit.
No, he's not. He created the earth.
He's a bit conceited, really, though, isn't he? If he wants people, what? So what should he do?
If
he were conceited, he wouldn't go sending us round to come and talk to you this morning.
You wouldn't want me to worship you, would you? Because you'd think it was a bit over the top.
We're only human.
Well, what? But why is he?
Because he's our creator.
Well, put it this way, James. People worship footballers, pop stars. They worship men, don't they?
I don't know if they worship them. They might want to. They might aspire to be like them. But there's plenty of other people in society. Yeah, but there's plenty of other people that people look up to that are worthy of being looked up to. But it's not worship, though, is it? You could look up to a doctor, it doesn't mean you worship him. You could say he's doing a good job for society.
Yeah. But how much more so the one who created the earth, our home?
Just backtracking a minute. You said before that everybody that doesn't follow your religion follows Satan,
well, I'll tell you what's going to happen. They're going to die.
Yeah, but you're going to die as well, aren't you?
No.
So you're going to live forever?
Well, the Bible says
we don't know when Armageddon will come.
Yeah, but do you think you personally are going to live forever then?
I don't know.
I hope so. That's why
I hope so, yeah.
On your doors to help you
I
get
hope.
life
And by the things, James, what are happening now, we know that Armageddon's very near.
What do you think? What happens if you don't live forever though, and you've wasted?
If we don't.
Yeah, but then you've wasted all this time going around doing this, and you don't have to. No, it's true.
Because we've come Jehovah's Witnesses, we've had better life altogether.
Well, that's fine.
Because we've done things by God's way, the Bible's way, and doing things
I think this one might benefit you, James.
That's why I lifted it out. Have a little
look.
So what, but back to...
again, we'll come back and see you, because we're going round and round in
But
circles.
back to what... I know, but it's only because you're providing me with more questions and answers.
Yeah, yes, but you're not letting us answer the first question.
Well, one question then for you. Alright, one just before you go then.
Yeah.
So, all the people that don't follow Jehovah's Witness religion follow Satan?
No, it's not just Jehovah's Witness religion.
Or Jehovah, say. No. Say everybody that doesn't, say, for instance, me, or Muslims, or say I would class myself as agnostic. I'm not an atheist, because I don't know that there isn't a God.
You're not sure, but you're brought up Church of England.
But I don't believe in any of that. But, so people like me and people that follow other faiths are all going to die, and they follow Satan. Including the Jews.
They don't, not by choice, James. They don't follow Satan by choice.
But just by default.
But there's only two. You can't sit on fence. It's like a fence.
But
this is why the loving God Jehovah is sending people out today to let people like yourself and others know just exactly what's at stake, so that they can make an informed decision to choose what's best life.
And when it brings Armageddon, nobody will be able to turn around and say
including
to
yourself,
him,
you'll not be able to say me. No.
How am I going to speak to him? He hasn't got. I don't know his telephone number to ring him up. Well,
I'll give you a
recipe. He's called into you.
He knows exactly what you're doing.
Yeah.
And if you want to talk to him, he'll not answer you.
He must have a good surveillance system now, because there's 7
billion.
billion.
Let me just explain.
There's 7 billion people in the world. How can you keep tabs on them all?
He knows every hair on a person's head that's ever been.
How?
It says in the Bible.
He created him.
Has he got CCTV?
Millions and trillions of angels.
GCTV.
Right. And he knows everything.
Or it'd be JCTV in your circumstances.
Well, whatever. Anyway, nice seeing you. We must go, because we're going to.
But hold on a minute. If the Jews by default follow Satan because they don't follow Jehovah?
Well, they had his son put to death.
But was Jesus not a Jew?
Yes, but
exactly.
So at
that time, 1513.
But
the
so
Jews,
what you're saying is that Jesus, who is God's son, was a Jew, and therefore he wasn't a Jehovah's Witness. Therefore he followed Satan, and he should die.
He was a Jehovah's Witness.
He was a Jew then.
Exactly. It wasn't. No,
so it can't be a Jew and a Jehovah's Witness.
We're not making distinctions between one nationality or another.
So is Jewish different to Jehovah then?
No.
What did the Jews do to Jesus Christ? Why you celebrate Easter? What did they do to him?
Well, they crucified him, and then he died, and then they put him in a cave, and then he rose again.
Yeah, and he was God's son, and he was one of their people, and they put him to death. And yet they were waiting for Jesus Christ to come. And today the Jews are still waiting for Jesus Christ to come. He's already come, and he's the King
And do you think they're a bit deluded for thinking that?
Oh yeah, of course they are.
You know this.
They're not looking.
But do they not believe? But do they not believe that just as fervently as you do?
People not applying Bible principles, whether you're Catholics, whether you're Methodist, whether you're
Jews. It's not just Jews.
So do you think we should apply Bible principles?
Of course It's God's guidelines to man's to be able to live.
So, say for instance, I was married and I had an affair, or my wife had an affair. Yeah. Should she be stoned to death for adultery?
Well, they don't stone to death.
I know they would have been, but if you're saying by biblical principles...
People don't get married now, they just live...
I know, but that's... But what if they do get married and they do...
That's because we're so deep into the end of this system.
Man accepts
man's system, James, is coming to an end very quickly.
I'm sure it will do.
It will do.
Like the dinosaurs did as well.
The Earth.
Do you believe in the dinosaurs?
Yeah,
oh, they were here, yeah.
Where did they fit in?
No, that's another question.
Yeah.
There's too many questions.
Exactly. You're chasing us round, and you're not letting us answer one.
And so
you've not answered one though yet.
It's like a
well, you don't allow us to. You're going to something else.
Jigsaw.
If you want a question answering, and if you want the accurate answers, we'll do it.
Was Jesus a Jew?
But if you're going to start steering round and round in circles, you're not going to get the
was Jesus a Jew?
Yes, he was.
Yes.
And do Jews all follow Satan?
No.
Because they're not Jehovah's Witnesses?
No. Up to the Jews were God's chosen nation, Jehovah's chosen nation, right up to 1513, and when they went through the wilderness.
Yeah.
Now, during that later period, some of the Jews, when Jesus was on the earth, some of the Jews listened to him and became followers. The apostles.
Well, he was a Jew himself, then.
Yes, but didn't speak.
So why did God?
And those that
How come everybody?
him,
Why does everybody think that they're the chosen people, and who says that one's right and
You're
one's
not
wrong?
listening. No.
I'm just
And then
confused
shortly,
now.
there were Jews and Gentiles way back. The pattern was, we would be Gentiles,
Yeah,
right?
non-Jews, yeah.
Non-Jews.
As in,
Right. Well, after the Jews rejected outright, the last straw was when they killed his son. Okay.
But do they not still follow the same God though now?
No.
Who do they follow then?
I have
now?
no idea. Let me finish. So, from 36 AD or CE is more accurate. This is when the
BCE.
No, that is before Christ. No, BCE is before the Common Era. CE is after Christ, right? So 36.
Why CE's after Christ?
Yeah, Common Era.
Oh right, okay.
Yeah.
So you just say Christ is the Common Era, basically. So before
no,
Christ
we just say the time after Christ is not AD or Anno Domini. We don't speak Latin.
Well, we do. Our language is formed from Latin, isn't it?
And
Same
Greek.
as
Well, but you don't speak it. It takes all the time to
Latin's
speak
a dead
English,
language.
doesn't it, really?
Unless you're a florist.
I've got a friend that's fluent in Latin.
Yeah,
I
I break and have a good conversation with anybody who meets him. Anyway.
No, it's a girl, but yeah.
Yeah, that's right. But the point is, 36 CE,
Yeah.
right, Peter was sent to the Gentiles,
Okay.
right? And the first family of Gentiles was a chap called Cornelius,
Right.
who was a Roman legionnaire, he was a centurion, so he'd got 100 men under him.
Right.
And he and his family became Christians. They weren't Jehovah's Witnesses, they were Christians.
Right.
So this is where, from 36...
What's the difference between a Christian and a Jehovah's Witness?
Well, it was in 1931 when the name Jehovah's Witnesses...
So you're pretty recent then. You're on in the
No. It's the name that we've adopted from that time.
There's always been a witness from
There's
the
always-
time of Cain and Abel.
Cain and
on this
Abel,
earth.
right?
Didn't they kill each other or something?
Well,
Yeah.
there were
One
others.
killed the other.
That's not very nice. Either,
No, he
is
was
it?
the
No,
first.
it
He was the
is. I
first
agree
Jehovah's
with
There's
you.
a lot
Witness.
of not very nice stuff going on in the Bible, isn't there?
Doing a
Yeah,
lot
but-
of nice stuff going off in the world today.
Could you-
People
could you blame-
accept
could
it.
you
I
blame-
don't accept it. I
Could you
think
blame?
it's wrong.
Could you blame God for what's happening in the world
Yeah,
today?
because he should be omnipotent, all-powerful, and be able
He
to
is
change
all-powerful.
change the
But
course
what
of
he's
history.
doing, what he's actually doing,
Why is he letting people die
he's allowing us
needlessly?
time, because right from the outset we've as good as turned around to him.
What about an innocent baby that's never had the choice to become a Jehovah's Witness or any other religion and then dies a horrible
God-
death?
people
Why
said-
doesn't God help them?
People said,
And do they
God,
go to hell because
we
they didn't
can
become
manage
Jehovah?
without you, so he's given us 6,000 years.
He's given us time.
in which to rule ourselves. Now, have we made a good job of things of ruling
I
ourselves?
don't know. It just
So
depends on which
whatever
way you
comes
look at
upon
it.
us,
There's only one way of looking
it's
at
what
it. We've gone down, haven't we?
to self. The
I don't
Bible
know.
says
We're
you
quite
reap-
a bit
you
more
reap what you
technologically
sow.
advanced.
Yeah,
aren't we?
to what avail? I mean, even plastic bags now, they're proving now that
No,
they're...
but all the things that you're wearing, everything that you've got is a result of man's technology. Otherwise, you'd probably be around here wearing a
Do you
sack,
know,
wouldn't
do
you?
you know person who
You
made
would though, wouldn't you?
the
Probably
very
am.
first person to make clothing was Jehovah
But
God.
all these clothes
For
were
Adam
made
and
on
Eve.
machines made by man,
well,
weren't they?
God-
Yeah, but a lot of
That's
our
probably
technology,
man-made
James,
fibre.
a lot of our technology, as I've just mentioned, plastics.
I think you
For
should
one
only come around doing this if you wear a
thing. Where's
sackcloth and
that
ashes.
bag? Oh, yeah, right.
No, thank you.
Why?
No, thank
You shouldn't wear things
What, and
made
chucking
by man.
ashes and whoa,
Yeah,
whoa, whoa. That's
yeah.
what scribes and Pharisees used to
We
do.
also use
And have
computers.
ashen faces.
Oh,
Let me just show you something else. I'm back in the magazine.
Oh yeah,
See that?
yeah.
Any questions that you want, and it'll not play with you, it'll not go around in circles.
So you do.
You can answer, that will answer it, jw.org.
Is that like God's email address then?
If you like.
If you want to put it that way.
If
So
you want to
what-
put it that way.
So you use man's technology to, even
Yeah.
though you think it's wrong and that we haven't.
No, we
come
don't
very-
think it's wrong.
You haven't. We haven't.
No, we
ruled-
don't think it's wrong.
Well, that's what you're saying by
No,
saying.
we're not saying that at all.
Technology's marvellous. and a
We're
lot
just
is done
saying
from
some of the
creation.
products that man's produced, which are very good,
But
plastic. But you know this, if it gets superheated,
Yeah.
it'll weld itself shut, and toxic fumes from that'll kill you.
Oh, only
They
if
don't
ma-
tell you that when you buy it.
Oh, God's not going to save me though, is he?
No.
Well, that's not very
It's-
nice of
it's
him either, is
It's
it?
giving you the chance to get to know him. Now, whether you take advantage of that chance.
The choice
When
is
did he
yours.
give me the
then
chance?
choice is
Now. From now.
We
And
are
how can I?
ready.
So are you like his messengers then?
Yes.
Yeah.
Right. And so how can I have a word with the boss then? And
Well, I'll tell you
Through
exactly
that.
how. You can have a word with the boss like this. Jesus taught his followers to pray. Matthew 6, 9
right.
and 10.
And what does
okay?
that involve then?
Right. You know when you send a letter to someone,
Yeah.
or an email,
Yeah.
if you don't address it correctly, even a dot with an email,
Yeah.
they don't get it.
Right.
Right. So Jesus taught his disciples to pray, his apostles, like this. Let me just see if you get the point from this. Matthew 6, 9 and 10. He says, you must pray then this way. This is Jesus. Our Father in the heavens, let your name be sanctified. Name, there, so Jehovah, let your name be sanctified. Yeah. Let your kingdom come, let your will take place, as in heaven, also upon the earth. Give us today, give us our bread for this day, and forgive us our debts, as we also forgive our debtors.
So praying is basically reading out of a book.
No, it isn't. No, that's where it's recorded.
It's from
but you said it. You said it many times, James. But the point is, have you addressed it correctly?
But how do you pray then?
Right.
When you personally, when you go to pray to God, what do you actually do?
Let me just explain that to you. I mentioned about an envelope or a letter.
Yeah.
If it's not addressed correctly, right, the Bible tells us that there's one mediator between Jehovah and...
But if God can see every single hair on your head, surely you don't need to pray correctly.
Let me answer this question.
Of course you do.
You've asked me a question about praying, and I'm going to tell you I can speak to the big guy upstairs.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, definitely. I definitely need to know this stuff.
Right, well, you ask. If you want to know an accurate knowledge, we're trying to show you, but you don't accept it at this point in time.
That's all right. God will help me.
He will.
If you pray to him.
James, if
you're just about to tell me how to do that.
Well, I'm going to tell you.
You're getting to the good bit now.
Right, this is the good bit. There's one mediator between Jehovah and us. That man is Jesus Christ.
Right.
So when we
He's dead, though.
Exactly, he's not. Not now. You've just said it yourself earlier. He came back to life. He was in heaven. Oh. Right. Okay. So he's there. Right. He's actually personnel manager, if you like.
Right.
So if you want to speak to higher up,
yeah,
you have to go through him. So you speak, address your prayers to Jehovah through Jesus Christ, and then you'll get a hearing, provided it's in harmony with God's will.
So
it wouldn't answer
how many gods and Jesuses are there? Is there one God?
There's one God
and one Jesus.
One God, Jehovah,
so what if?
And Jesus
Christ.
So
if every person on the earth converted to be Jehovah's Witness, there'd be 7 billion of us.
Also praying at the same time.
What if they all prayed at the same time? How would God be able to deal with it all? They'd have a right backlog, wouldn't he?
No, switchboard works.
Do you know it can answer prayers?
But if he can do that, why do we even need to pray? Can read our minds and just...
Because people don't pray to him, and they don't pray to him.
Jesus said, whatever you wish, if it's in accordance with God's will, keep on asking. Yeah. Not ask once and then say he's not doing it. Keep on asking. So James, we'll leave you with this thought. If you want, it's available to you now. If you want the prospect of life, everlasting life.
I've got life at the moment.
Yes, but it's only temporary.
But it's only temporary.
If you want, everything's temporary though, isn't it? Yeah. Everything's just a cycle of creation and destruction.
Died, so
when I die, I'll still be alive in terms of the atoms from my body will be broken down by worms and bacteria. And parts of me will still be out there as part of another living being.
Then worms will come and eat you all.
The prospect is...
I'm quite happy to be eaten by worms.
All right. Well, I don't think I would be.
No,
I'll be dead, I won't know any different.
You understand what I'm saying? Yeah, I know we've got to go to our old clinic. If you want really to understand, get an accurate knowledge, not just from us, but from God's Word, take that prescription I've just mentioned, take that recipe, pray, but through Jesus Christ.
And read your Bible.
And how do I know whether he's answering it or not?
You'll know.
How though?
He'll know.
So if I pray to an end to war or an end to AIDS in Africa and nothing happens,
he'll not do that.
It will eventually.
What will he do?
He will, but not
for as an individual.
What sort of things can I ask for that I'm likely
you
to
can
get
ask for knowledge, accurate knowledge.
To get to know him.
Well, he wouldn't even let them eat out of the tree of knowledge.
No. You can ask him for accurate knowledge.
About what?
About his,
and ask for his Holy
kingdom.
Spirit.
What's that going to do for me though?
Well, you'll know that.
Help you to get understanding and put you on the road to everlasting life.
What about, I'd like to save poor people or cure sickness.
Well, Jesus did.
Well,
that's why
leave that in hands of his government, because that will come to fruition. And all the ones that have been killed with these man's wars will have a resurrection.
What about all the ones that were killed by God? Do they get resurrected?
No, I don't think so.
No, they won't.
Because then they were not worthy of having life.
Who's to say that someone's worthy and not worthy though? That's like,
well, you take that up with...
I could get a knife out of the kitchen and say you're not worthy to live and kill you, and that'd be wrong, wouldn't it?
You're the one that'll suffer.
Anyway,
but we've got to go.
We've got to go.
Thanks again. Have a read.
I've tried to give you some advice.
Yeah. Good, I'll have a look at it.
Whether you take
have a look at it, whether you take it.
I'm not too concerned.
The choice is yours. Thanks for your time, anyway.
I'm not too concerned.
It's been an interesting experience.
Yeah, good luck. I hope you just don't waste your lives going around talking mumbo jumbo to people.
Well, we hope you don't lose your life.
You know this, but you know this time you've just spent here
yeah.
doing this with me now.
Yeah, we could have been doing something more constructive.
Yeah, you could have done. You could have gone down to a homeless shelter and helped some homeless people.
Yeah, but you're saying we've wasted this time.
We've wasted our time.
No,
and your life's not worth saving.
But don't worry about me. There's other people I can look after myself.
No,
God sent His Son for all mankind.
But wouldn't you think you'd be better off going to help the homeless?
We do.
We got everybody.
We do. We even go in prisons.
We're not partial.
We're in Africa.
Would you go on
we go where there's Ebola and all that. We've got brothers and sisters working so hard out there.
But do you go there to help them unconditionally, or do you go to help them on the condition that they follow your rules?
No, we go to help. When there's floods, we go and build houses.
Physical help.
Not us, literally. We do with tsunami, and Jehovah's Witnesses are the first there before any other government to go and do, but they never make common knowledge. Common knowledge.
But you personally, though, you could do something in your own life to help other people.
We do. They're knocking on doors and showing you that God cares about you.
But something more practical, that's all a bit theoretical, isn't it?
If you never ever listen to a Jehovah's Witness again, if you never
I do this every time they come round, I ask them, and no one's answered yet.
Well, I've just told you how to get information for yourself.
If you never ever listen to Jehovah's Witnesses again, and Armageddon is going to come, God's war.
And when it does come,
you'll never be able to turn round to God and say, I didn't know, because you've just admitted, not just us, every witness that comes, you'll fire these questions at you.
I'm not bothered
you're not listening to what they do say, because you're not interested. You just want to chuck questions, but you're not interested.
You know, James, they say a drowning man will clutch at a straw. It won't save his life.
I don't care if I die, though. That's the difference. I'm more than happy that I'll get to a certain age and die, and it might be tomorrow or it might be when I'm 90. But I don't care. I'll be gone then, and I'm not worried about it.
You can say that while you're living. But when it comes to die, what do you say if you're on a ship and it were sinking?
I'll be dead, won't I?
Please help me. You'll be asking somebody to help you. Anyway, thanks for your time.
All right. Good luck.
Have a nice day.
Hope it isn't.
And try and have a little read.
I really hope it wasn't a waste of your time.
No, it's not. We don't think.
I don't want you to die and we've wasted all of your Sundays and Saturdays walking around doing this when you could have done something more pleasurable. Have you not got grandkids that you could spend time with instead of doing that?
We've got 5 grandkids.
Exactly, they'd be happier playing with you on a Saturday than talking to me.
And they come and stay with us.
We're obligated, we know it, we know the truth, and so we're obligated to tell other people.
I reckon a Saturday down at the homeless shelter would be a lot more productive than talking to me today.
We could do that.
Yeah, I think you should.
We do lots of things.
So what you're saying,
I'm not saying that you're not nice people. I don't doubt for a minute that you're nice people. I just think your time could be better spent on helping people in the real world.
They're trying to get somebody.
No, help them now where you know it's real rather than in the future.
That's exactly what we're doing.
Do you know how many witnesses there is on the earth? 7.25 million Jehovah's Witnesses. And
so that's only one.
Do you know how many people? This is
there's 1,000 times.
Bigger than a nation. And how many people attended the Lord's evening meal, which is every year, which Jesus instituted and tells us to? Another 10 million people. So they're all
17.5 million.
Coming out of all religions.
And they're not just Jews.
17.5 million.
Out of all nations.
But there's 7 billion on the world. That's way more than that. That's about 500. That's about 500 times more.
You know, on these here insurance policies, there used to be a clause in bottom. If you get out clause for insurance companies, you would say they wouldn't pay out if something comes in an act of God. Right? You know about this.
Yeah.
Right. Now, there would nobody able to say it's. You know, an act of God actually means that before Jehovah ever brought any sort of distress on anybody, even the Egyptians, he warned them.
Right.
The flood in Noah's day. Noah preached for 40 years. They were warned. They took no notice until the flood came and swept them all away, except 8 people.
So do you think you're protected then?
Yeah.
So if you drive away now, and as you get in your car, the wind blows a tree down and it lands on your car and kills you?
No. Don't work like that. Don't work like that.
You're asking for miracles.
Well, is that not what God provides? I thought God provided miracles.
We must go. You can go on.
Just have a look at your website because you're going round in circles.
All right. Good luck.
Okay then. Bye.
Yeah.
Cheerio, James.
Goodbye. Nice chatting to you.